just do a couple of short videos now. So these are the Celtic houses, and I'll actually put a brilliant video of an Iron Age village that's in West Wales. It's a really good video that one of the professors, I think it's one of the professors, does. Absolutely brilliant video. That is really what should have been on top of that warrior's burial, because it's clearly the size for dwelling and occupation, like Oswestry. Now, I actually want to just talk about the word Connaught, which is a Welsh term and name. It's actually a place, but the cone, conical, cone. We've got a river Cone that runs past all of our hill forts from the Pennines, joins onto the Calder. So the word cone, although it's spelt C-O-L-N-E, it definitely, that's where cone is from. There's no doubt about it. And you see, these houses were a conical shaped roof. It literally is a cone sat on a zero, sat on a naught. Now, obviously, if you put a little attention into it, it's clearly obvious. But, most people, you can't draw their attention into it. It's just grabbing other people's attention, really. So it's almost like a cone on a naught. So you've got Connaught. And the fact that if you've got the single point at the top of the cone is where it emanates from and projects out. So you've got this a projection. It's actually how you could get even into molecular science. And Professor Brian Cox, with his leptons and things like that in microcosmology. But the cone itself emanates from one point, so it is a beam or projection. Obviously, it's circular. Now, they do refer to these as fairy rings. There are some remnants in various ancient sites. You can get the remnants of the bases of these. But these were all over Africa and Europe and everywhere. It's quite a common shape. But obviously, where we are over here, we get the addition of the long barrows and so something slightly different to what's going on in France and Spain. So it's almost as if the circular bottom of it could be representative of the fairy ring, which you get a lot of the fairy lore, like the various even the toadstools and things like that shape. But then you've got the other cone over the top of it, so it's in a way it's sort of hidden, because if they did actually have the edges of these right down to the floor, it's almost like kind of hiding that circular shape underneath it. Although he actually goes into that in the video. I'll put that video, because I did actually have that video in the other comments, but I haven't actually included that video in the updates, and that's a really important video. And that's the type of thing we should be having, not modern cafes and sort of, you don't really want any modern. An ancient site is an ancient site, and the professor, the presenter in this video that I'll put on, he strongly, firmly believes that if you're going to go to an ancient place, you want to experience it, have a wholesome experience, and you want to be transported back in time to what it was actually like to be there. You don't want that spoiled by any modern buildings or architecture, really, because it kind of spoils the time travel. They're trying to do that with Stonehenge at the moment. They're saying they want to try and put a context in the setting for it to go back in time. The only thing with that is that people don't see it, because they're wanting to build a tunnel. The thing about Stonehenge is that you know about it, because when you go past on that road, you always see it, and it reminds you that it exists. Whereas if you got a tunnel, you kind of forget about it and it slips out of your memory. That's what they were trying to do to Huddersfield. All of the visual access points have been closed down or removed, and then gradually built up and over, so that it literally obscured, Yeah, I mean, we don't, I strongly believe that, you know, unfortunately, the activity through the medieval period and after, you know, is spoiled our sites. So unfortunately, unlike Maiden Castle, which has the actual rings from the original houses, you can pinpoint exact houses on there. You know, it's unfortunate that we can't pinpoint currently with the current technology we've got exact buildings and dwellings that were on there. If we could, it would have been nice to get a reconstruction. I'm for that in its original context, but I'm not for particularly cafes, you know, because it's just not. You see, we've got a lot of issues now with there are a lot of activist groups, Extinction Rebellion and other people like that, and we've got a lot of issues with diet not being good at the moment, and the way that civilization is going. I don't think it's a good idea to be promoting junk food and cakes and bread and things like that. You know, I think that it's important to have a bastion of healthy, balanced with nature, you know, diets. And from evidence at many ancient sites, there is evidence that they had a mixed and balanced diet, particularly the Neanderthals as well. And now it's really gone very, very bad. And there are issues with addiction, with advertising, with people who just don't get it, people who just don't care, the whole television culture. So I actually think that it'd be nice to have a place that was representative of a rebalancing, even, you know, from all the urban sprawl and pollution that's happening that a lot of people are upset about, particularly wildlife movements and ancient woodland movements and things like that. This falls into that category, and I think that it'd be very, very disrespectful to have anything in connection with these sites to be tied and associated to anything corporate or polluting or anything like that.